Hello everybody from Doha Airport, and I'm on my way back from Pakistan to Europe. I've spent the week in between India and Pakistan engaging with academic institutions, with think tanks and with folks in government, and it's been a fascinating week trying to understand the foreign policies and the foreign policy outlook of these two very big countries in this moment of shift of power eastwards and change in the structure of the international order. Pakistan in particular has been very interesting. It is a hinge country, one that is bound to play a role in international affairs and in this part of the world. And it's been interesting because I could summarize their foreign policy outlook in three ways. One is a major bet on China. I think it's one of the few countries in the world that has actually explicitly made it a foreign policy objective and an economic objective to engage with China in a structured way, perhaps above anybody else. And they have an agreement on a corridor of infrastructure as part of the Belt and Road Initiative that is now seeing the deployment of Chinese investment in Pakistan in infrastructure and in others. But in parallel to this, they're still highly dependent on the US on the military side, cultural, educational side. So a lot of the political, intellectual elites have been educated in the United States. So there's still very much a split, but having made the decision to bet on China. And we will have to see how that plays out in the coming years. Second, they see themselves as a middle power from the global south, from the south, in a world that really needs these middle powers to structure their foreign policy and coordinate it to try to prevent the emergence of this world of blocs that would hurt the trade agenda, the climate agenda. So this idea of them being a country that could play a role in that space, reforming the Bretton Woods institutions, making the system more inclusive in a way that would prevent this great power competition and collision that we seem to be headed for. Now, the third element is I think they wish to play a broader role in the Islamic world, particularly given events in the Middle East, in Palestine. They believe that this world is in need of also leadership and voices, and maybe they can play a role there. A huge Muslim country, over 200 million population, nuclear weapons, a major actor that could play a role in that space. Now, a final comment, which is all of this is conditioned by this factor, which is the weight of the security apparatus in Pakistan, of the military. You leave with a clear sense that this is a country that is absolutely absorbed by internal issues, from the structure of the state, the structure of its democracy and its form of government, very corseted by the security forces and the interference every now and then in the politics of the country, but also issues linked to poor economic development and others that also make the rise of India look much more threatening to the Pakistanis. So despite being that large and being placed right in the strategic location, you get the sense that they've been unable to project, to construct a foreign policy and sustain it across time. So a fascinating visit and a fascinating set of exchanges, and I leave with this idea that here you have a massive country right on the fault line of this change in global order, with big question marks about what it's going to be able to do in that environment. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.